Hey, I'm Hannah Weiss, the Director of Education at the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and this is your Moment of STEM. And this week, we're delving into the depths of the internet to find a kind of fun topic to talk about. Because we're going to be talking about horse-sized ducks and duck-sized horses. So if you remember a few years ago, there was this kind of fantastic question that made the rounds of the internet. Would you rather fight a horse-sized duck or 1,000 duck-sized horses? And it was something that kind of popped up in job interviews, Reddit AMAs. Actually, even President Obama was asked this question and had a really kind of fascinating answer. But it turns out there's some real science behind it. Because within our history on the planet, we've actually had horse-sized ducks and duck-sized horses. So, horse-sized ducks. We had this animal called a dromornis that lived in Australia up until about the early Pleistocene. Now, these animals were also called thunderbirds and were potentially relatives of ducks. It's not terribly clear from the fossil record what these animals ate, but they were still giant birds, perhaps one of the largest birds to have lived on our planet. And given some of the really violent ways really large birds are able to kind of interact, it's probably not something I'd like to fight. On the other side of this whole debate, we have the duck-sized horses. And to find them, we have to go way, way back to Paleocene, to the earliest horses in our fossil record. So when these animals, the Stirripus, first started appearing, they were actually a little bit larger. But changing climate caused them to shrink. And towards the end of their appearance in our fossil record, they were about the size of a house cat or a really large duck. Now, both of these animals disappeared from our fossil record, most likely due to changing climates. Potentially, in the case of the thunderbird, it was loss of glaciation in Australia. And for the Stirripus, it was climate change that happened, kind of a gradual warming of the planet that happened towards the end of their existence in our fossil record. But if you'd like to know any more about these fascinating creatures or dig deeper into the debate, you can check out any of the links below. Otherwise, I'm Hannah Weiss from the Science Museum of Western Virginia, and I really think I'd prefer to fight the horses.